There we
There
go.
she is. Our lovely lady. The recording in progress lady.
Yep. So, coming off the back of the niching session we just had, let's have a look at what you got.
Okay, so all right, so can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, sure thing.
Um, I have a list of stuff that I would like you to take a look at.
Sure thing.
But another thing I would like to do is I would like to see your kind of your process from the beginning, right? With something
Okay.
that's brand new. So what I was thinking is I I'll put my list aside for a few minutes, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll just give you whatever. I've got a few that I want to look into that I haven't looked into at all.
Mm-hmm.
Throw one or two of those at you, see how you would approach it,
Yep.
and then depending on where we go from there, like then we can go over to my list or the stuff that I
Mm-hmm.
have done, and you can kind of pick apart the things maybe I could do better or fill in
Yeah.
some holes, fill in some gaps that I might have missed. Does that sound good?
Yeah. I gave you that widget, the pamphlet.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's basically what I try and do is that's why I ask when I do a one-on-one, grab your brainstorming list, we'll go through it, we'll I it's basically borrowing. I basically
Right.
that's what I primarily do is I borrow it, see if it's viable, and then throw you onto the research.
Okay. Right. Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. Once I get to the research, I'm fine. It's
Yeah,
the niching and burrowing part that I'm still kind of sucking at. So that'd be cool. But
that's
yeah,
what I'm
okay. So
here.
I'll toss you one or two. It's just
Yep.
kind of walk me through how you would approach it, and then yeah, I'll go over all the stuff that I've been looking at. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good. Have you got them on a document? Because I'm very
I do.
visual. Yeah,
I
that,
do.
that'll be the
It's
way.
kind of a mess,
Uh,
but I
Trust me,
can I
I've
can I can
I've
share
seen quite a few messes since I've been playing this game. So,
that. Okay. All right. Let me share here.
but generally having a good day.
Yeah. How about you, man?
Yeah, I've spent the day with my young fella. It's always good to hang out with him. He's
Oh,
in the
awesome.
he's in the bed. He's in bed at the moment. I had a bit of an hour's kip before this, so it's pretty good.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
so yeah, let me just read this for you. But basically, okay, so for starters, like one thing that stood out to me, I haven't looked into it at all.
mhm.
Offensive security consulting. So these are the guys that like basically they try to hack your site or hack your company, and then they tell you how they hacked
Ah,
it, and
yep. So,
they help you
okay,
like
yep.
find a solution for it, right?
Yep. I have someone in my back pocket who does that, who do that for free because he likes doing that sort of shit.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Okay, offensive security consulting. Okay, now,
So if I wanted to burrow that, how would you like what would be the process you would use to burrow?
okay, is that editable at this moment in time?
Uh it
That document?
you know what? Yeah, I think if I
Okay.
share it, you edit it. Here, let me
So what I'll do is just past the offensive security consulting, I'll just give it a bit of space.
okay.
Eh, so from there, I'd go one. Who would you go for? What would be the industry you'd be aiming at consulting for the offensive? So hypothetically, would you go to say hospitals or government, or you see where I'm coming from?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay.
So you go for the industry. Obviously, geography is always a thing as well.
Okay.
That's one I like to throw out there. Um, Industry, geography, um, the style of offensive of a set, because there's multiple ways to that you can go through. My mate, he says the auto password keeping on Google, it's an easy in. So if you've got passwords stored on Google, it's an easy in for him. You know, auto passwords from the big companies, especially on Google. So yeah,
So that would
fine.
fall under style.
Sorry.
That would fall under style, right?
Yeah, that would be the you could call it genre, the genre
Gotcha.
of methodology. Oh, there you go. That's better. Methodology.
Okay.
Yep. Methodology, hospitals, government. Right. I don't think there's much security in mining, to be honest. All our all our SOPs are repeats of everyone else's. Um, that's off the top of my head. So yeah.
So if I were to, okay, so if I were to, yeah, choose something like that, then choose what industry they serve, and then the specific services, then you
Mm-hmm.
would feel like that would be adequately burrowed to where I could start doing research.
Yeah, and then demographic, because you find out that it'd probably be a little easier to get hold of people in India and Pakistan than it would be people in, say, even Australia. You know, it comes
Okay.
back down to the new sixth part of it being niche, being able to easy to access. You know,
Okay.
and easy to do your research.
Okay.
So that's exactly that's what I'd think of.
Okay. What's the when do you know, like, when you're burrowing? Like, when do you get to, like, is there what's the signal that you use to indicate
Usually when I
that,
run
like,
out of things to think of.
no, what's the signal you use to where you say, okay, you know what, I'm going to stop and I'm not going to burrow any further because this sounds like a bad idea? Like, what are some of the warning signs that you see?
It's the way I see it, because I usually deal with the borrowing of like the brainstorming before you actually choose your five. I just borrow until I can't think of any more. And
Mhm.
I usually use that as an exercise for people to go back with. Like I'll say, for example, I'll borrow 5 or 6 with you and then have a little assignment to, okay, when we get back to talking, let's have a look at your list and see how well you've borrowed them.
Okay.
And then we we have a look at the top 5. Then we start looking at writing them on the boards, you know? So the warning signs, I just go hard, just borrow as far as you can, follow that rabbit hole. It's more fun that way. Basically, I just keep going till I can't think of any more, just like the above offensive security consulting. I can't think of anything else right now.
Right.
So I've stopped, you
Okay.
know? That's where I'm at.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, then I'll show you what I got, and you can tell me.
Nice and easy then.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's fine. And actually, I appreciate that. Okay, actually, no, real quick though, one question
Yep.
also is for the burrowing,
Hmm.
what's your main tool? Are you using like ChatGPT, Google, stuff like that?
Um, the multitudes of voices in my head. But yes, I
Oh
usually go.
man,
I
I'm not
usually.
alone with that. My head
Yeah.
is the
I
has no
start with.
friends.
I usually start with Chat GPT.
Okay,
Get some basic idea, and then I go to Perplexity. Actually, what I might do is I might go to where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? In there. I am just looking at something because as I said on the thing tonight with the I just recently did a niching session. Where is it? New niche list. Okay, now did I put that on Dropbox? I'll have to double check. Okay, I'll have to just a sec. Sorry, Pete. That one. I have like 4 or 5 different profiles with 4 or 5 different accesses.
4 or 5 profiles for
Google.
what? Oh, okay. With
'Cause
different accesses? What do you mean by that?
as in, like, I've got one for my yielding designs. I've got one for my unique niche direction. I've got one for my YouTube. It's yeah, I got like 4 or 5. I got one for like my social media. My social media. I'll just upload this. My social media for unique for yielding designs. So it can get a bit long in the tooth when I'm trying to look for things.
Why do you keep separate profiles for each
Well,
niche?
it's primarily because one for YouTube.
Oh, okay. Right.
You know, because you need a different profile for a different page for
Right.
YouTube.
Yeah, you want different channels.
Yes. Different emails as well. So I just
Yeah.
try and keep everything separate. It's a little harder, but I will actually ping that to you. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Of course I did. I just cancelled that thing. Okay, where are we? It should be the first most recent one. Recent niche documents. Okay, there we go. Okay, share. Create and copy link. Okay. Cool. So, you know what? I'll just go like that. My base camp's accessible from all of them, so I just and I've got my own personal base camp as well for yielding designs because I've got a team for that. Okay, I'll just drop box my new niche list for fintech. So
Sorry, what tech?
financial tech.
Oh, fintech. Gotcha.
Yeah. I spoke about that in today's meeting. That's from ChatGPT and then followed through with Perplexity. I've just done a ping for you.
Okay.
It's got
Sweet. Thank you.
it's got a link to my Dropbox on it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, you actually wrote that down. Okay.
So I don't forget.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just waffling on. If you found something out of it, hey, awesome.
Okay. No,
Oh,
that's
I don't.
perfect. It's great to see examples.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Ooh,
Okay.
board games. I love board games.
Yeah, I had a few. There's like board games, residential trees.
Residential
Uh,
trees.
these are all the ones I haven't looked at yet.
Mm.
I haven't burrowed into yet. Sports nutrition.
That like fitness is a little bit harder unless you get really into it. Because most PTs are nutritionists as well, at least basic nutritionists. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, I mean, no, that is true. And this could still be too broad, but the niche I was looking at was like pitching to specific like collegiate athletic programs. I thought that sounded kind of interesting. That might still be too big though.
yeah, that's where you go down to area and perhaps even discipline. So, for
Right.
example, I know that like we don't have
Like,
colleges and we basically don't have colleges for sport in Australia.
Uh-huh.
Like we have institutes of sport, which you get basically drafted into, like people who go out look for new talent, go to say the local schools, have a look through that may have those sorts of programs as secondary stuff, like athletics or something. And then they'll say, oh, hey, hang on, you'll be great for the Institute of Sport in Canberra. We want to offer you a scholarship, but it's not. Yes, that's a college. I find because I have very little experience with the American college system, I can't understand. I from my understanding of the Australian Institute of Sport, it's just like that's all they focus on. They don't have any like core. They don't have any subjects you have to pass in order to keep going. Like we've got some private institutes that have after school activities that you have to keep your grades up in order to stick by. But that's
Yeah.
basically the gist of it. It doesn't lead on to anything else. It's not like the college football in America or college basketball in America, from
Uh-huh.
my limited knowledge.
Right,
So
right, right.
that's where you need to find out which geographic you want to go to. America, awesome source. Strongly wouldn't suggest it in Australia.
Okay.
That's just where it's coming to. Okay, cool.
Okay, sorry. Let me add that. I forgot.
Yeah.
There was high-end cosmetics, so like expensive cosmetics, prescriptive hearing aids.
For the cosmetic, as was said on the thing tonight, look at the guys. Start
Yeah.
start looking for self-care for guys.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, so that was actually rather awesome when that was brought up tonight.
Yeah. Totally.
Because to be fair, that is a niche. Look, hell, I'm
Is.
only just started trying to start looking after myself.
Yeah.
Like me being involved with Caleb's information and programs in the last year has really helped me because this time last year I was in a really, really bad position. I was creeping up onto me 40th. I was living at my ex-girlfriend's house on the floor on a mattress, and I was earning maybe $1,000 a week AU, not even,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
unable to get a job in an industry that I've been in for 20 years. And yeah, I was at a very, very, very low point, probably the lowest point in my life. And then I came across the Unchained Man audio book, which I had on Audible anyway for the last two
You come
years.
across it.
I just, I just, when I separated from my ex-wife, one thing I've found I do is that once I've separated from a woman, I usually end up going into self help. What did I do wrong? How could I improve next time? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um, as it was with this time, after I broke up with my ex-wife, I just bought a couple of books on Audible. One was Caleb's and one was Corey Wayne's. I listened a lot to Corey Wayne at the time, and because I was listening to Corey Wayne, I didn't give Caleb much of a go. But when I broke up with my ex-girlfriend this time, which was 2 years later, I I was just browsing my library on Audible, which is, to be fair, all self-help. I had a look. Unchained Man. I had a look a bit better on that. You know what? I'll give this a crack. And oh my fucking god! Like I've got a fucking blog of 6 articles
Uh-huh.
that I was writing during that time, and you can tell from the start where I was at, and at the end of the 5, you could see the improvement,
Yeah.
you know, and it was just like, it's, yeah, it was,
And Caleb was the critical
yeah,
factor in
it
all
was,
that
yeah.
change. Yeah,
And
yeah.
hell, since it's been released a couple of about 10 days ago, I've listened to his new update about 3 times already.
Yeah.
I haven't been listening to music, I've been listening to Caleb.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, yeah, Caleb's his own man, and we all love him for the way he is,
Yeah, right.
you know. Um, but it's, for me, it's, and Caleb got me into the program, and it's Billy and Jeff that have kept me here and kept me going and got me to where I am, you know, and
Yeah,
I'm
right,
always going to be appreciated to all of them.
right.
Okay, cool. Enough about me. Let's keep going with you.
Yeah, sorry. I get curious.
Oh, no, that's
Okay.
fine. As you may have noticed, I enjoy waffling on like a pork chop.
I'm glad you stopped me because I had more questions. So,
Maybe later.
yeah, on another call.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see, prescriptive hearing aids, medical sales. I kind of want to get take a look at, but that's still super broad. Like,
Yeah.
what
Prescriptive hearing
I'm
aids, you got a lot there. You can do the strength, you can do the variety, you can look at strength of the hearing aid, the modality of the hearing aid, because I think there's also bone resonant hearing aids these days. Um,
Yep.
power, different power sources for them. Because I know some of the more powerful ones need a separate battery pack. I don't
Hmm.
know if that's old technology or not, but you can see where I'm coming from. And then once again, geographic. Um, so if you're going to, well, even you could even research where the most hearing loss is and just narrow down in that geography. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
who's got the worst hearing loss in the world, and I'll just say, oh yeah, these few countries. Have a look around and see which
right.
actually have got the money for that technology. But then again, you know, mm,
Okay. Yeah, like along those lines, the other thing I was thinking out, it's not on this list here, but the other thing I was thinking was like small to mid-tier medical devices. So things like masks, gloves, syringes, those sorts of things.
they're very bulk created. Um, Once
Bulk
again,
created.
yeah, like bulk,
Okay.
made in bulk. They're made in bulk, like the plastic syringes, the masks. You know, hell, even the P2 masks. Like when I was on a site where I had to wear them daily, like I'd go through 5, 10 a day just to make sure that everything's good. You know, and yeah, a lot of, unless you're gonna do something like very niche, like let's have a look. Let's go with dust masks. Um,
Uh-huh.
you know, triple filtered dust masks, disposable dust masks for deconstruction and in asbestos based buildings, you know, in a particular location, you know.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So
Okay, cool.
if
Sorry, go ahead.
you remember on the little pamphlet, I say, look, geography, demographics. Let me just bring that up so I can reference it. Because that little pamphlet was whipped up in an hour. I loved it. No, not meetings. There we go. Nation pamphlet. Okay. Let's see. Um, Okay, yeah. Who you wanting to niche to? This needs to be specific. What? Yep. Where? Geography, uh, demographic, industry. So as I said, I like going to an industry first, then start narrowing down. Then you go to geography, then it could be demographic, and then you can, if it's got, as in my example, um, a certain vintage or certain age of a particular thing. You know, in the example, 1935 Duesenberg SJLA Phaeton, it's a car. It has a specific date connected to a specific model of car. Great example of what and when. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
So yeah, that's just as a reference. I'll keep that. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. No, that's a good example.
yeah.
There was RVs, renting out WeWork offices. I'm not sure that's such a great idea post COVID because a lot of folks are still working from home.
Mm,
Um, like event
um,
planning, event organizing, stuff like
what,
that.
once again, as it was spoken about tonight, choose an event and specialize in it.
Gotcha.
Um,
That makes
one
sense.
one thing is my friend had a pagan wedding.
Ooh, I
So,
like that.
oh, dude, like they had swords and everything. It was like a great big LARP. I
I love
la I loved seeing the photos. I wasn't invited, but you know,
that.
it was, and they're divorced now, but that's neither here nor there. But
Yeah.
that's why it's such a
Who
repeat
got to keep the
customers.
swords?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, you know. It's like there was no one in the party, in the bridal party, that could be single. They must have always all been married.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there is specific things, and that's the sort of thing that you need to look at. You know,
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are all good stuff. I should get
that's a
into. Oh, sorry. Go
specialization.
ahead.
That's a specialized,
Right.
like that's niched. You know,
Right. Yeah.
especially with
100%.
the LARPing community getting bigger. You know, and you know what LARPing is?
No, no.
Okay, I'll just Google it. What I know of it as is um, everyone getting together and doing like you might be you're based in America, yeah?
Yeah.
Like the reenactment of the Civil War.
Oh, okay. Right. Gotcha.
That's kind of like LARPing.
Oh, LARPing. Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry,
Um,
sorry, sorry.
a live
Like
action role
live action
playing
role play.
game.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, live action role playing. Okay.
I like that one. Okay.
Oh, dude, there's
Um,
so much that LARPing can do for you as well. Goodness
yeah, and that
gracious.
seems like it's so wide open that there's a ton of niches to choose from too.
Well, with
It just takes
LARPing,
so many different
you could
forms.
narrow it down as well. You could narrow it down so much.
Right,
You know, like you could go say LARPing for medieval fantasy with
right,
magic, or medieval fantasy without magic, or
right,
medieval semi-historic.
right.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
and
Exactly.
then you can go to demographic as well, because you can go semi-historic in the Nordic, or semi-historic for Japanese. That's still LARPing. You know,
Yep,
Eh,
yep.
see, this is what I love about niching. It's just so, I love it so much.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like some of the you find a gold mine like this.
Like you can find a gold mine anywhere. Gold is a
Yeah,
very common mineral in the Earth's crust. It's only when
yeah,
it's found in concentrations that it's profitable.
right.
mining.
Okay, so on that segue,
Okay.
let's go to mining. So I'll
Yeah.
show you what I did.
Okay. Yes, please. So you had a
Uh,
look at that video from George.
yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah, as I said, they're in parts because at the time I hadn't purchased Zoom. So now I've got a
Right.
Zoom for my niching and I've got a Zoom for my yielding designs. Okay, let's have a look.
Okay, so what I did was I went into Chat GPT and I typed provide a comprehensive list of small business types that supply custom components to mining companies. And then
Okay,
some random
you're going into a
just
service already.
well, it was because I'm trying to look for I'm trying to understand the supply chain for a mining company,
Okay.
right?
Then
So
wouldn't
I'm
it
still
been
looking for
easier
the
to
name.
find out what the supply chain is rather than
Yeah. So that was the aim with this question was
yeah.
to find out what the supply chain is,
Okay,
right?
cool.
And so this is what they listed. They said custom CNC machining services, metal fabrication services, foundry services, forging services, rubber and plastic molding companies, hydraulic and pneumatic systems, electric components,
Mm,
specialty coating and heating and treating,
okay.
heat treating, gear
Yep.
manufacturing, and tool and die services.
Yep. Okay.
And then from there, I asked for a list of examples of companies that do this sort of
Yeah.
thing, just so I
I
could learn a little
wouldn't
bit more.
go with the companies right now. I'd go for where
Right.
they're actually utilized in mining. So, for metal fabrication, you could go for mineral processing, because there's a lot of say cyclones and all that created, and they usually have rubber lining as well as the metal making fabrication. Yep, cutting, bending, welding, especially if some of those high pressure vessels, they need the trains, the processing trains. Oh, they would be so high end. Um, just type in processing trains as an example for nickel creation, for nickel oxide, I think it is nickel oxide refining, yeah, creation.
Okay.
Because I was involved with that for a little bit, but their welds have to be on the money for the pressurized. So that'll be welds, specific welds, um, and supply of that is like, they've got liners in there which are either steel or rubber or something. I can't remember off the top of my head where it comes into rubber creation and forging as well. And then there's always protection plates. This will be a separate line. Protection plates for, say, crushers and chutes. But on the same, you can also say protection plates for dump trucks as well, because they have replaceable plates for when they wear out. Wear plates. That's what they are. Wear plates. Wear plates for crushers, chutes, and dump trucks. That's could be a completely different kettle of fish. Um, yeah. So what else did we have? Sorry, I get
Oh
like
no,
this.
that's okay.
I get
Yeah.
into the zone and
So
get
no,
into
I'm glad you did because so what in terms of where are they used in mining? It sounds like what you're saying is that I should look for specific aspects of mining that are being
in
serviced
the
by these
process.
right.
Goodness gracious. Where is it? I'm pretty sure. Where is it? Had some pictures from when I was dealing um, with George. Maybe it's in here. No, not that. BI photos. No, that's my photos. Iconography. Nope. Um, if you, I don't know if you remember um, on the videos I had with, oh no, I think I sent them to him. Oh, then I'll just go through here. Okay. Sorry, I get
Yeah,
like
take your time.
this.
I'm still trying to finish my breakfast. My cereal's getting soggy.
Have you ever had Wheat Bix? They're bricks
No.
of wheat, basically wheat flakes. They're all bricked up, and yeah, yeah, my young fella loves them. Ah, here we go. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, I'll download that. Download that and download that. I'll download that one too. Cool. So we go. Okay, open the folder. Okay. So we go. Cut. Data. Business. Business. No, wrong one. Mate, I'll tell you what, having a look through my hard drive is very similar to looking through my Google my Google files. Like I have a folder that's basically, what have I got? Business, and I've got business and Unchained Man.
Uh-huh.
So the Unchained Man is obviously stuff that involved with Alpha Male 2.0. Then I got business.
Right.
Then I got 90-day business builder, which has basically my interactions with coaches. Business logistics. Yes, seeing as tax, it's coming up to a tax time for us. And I've finally found out how much I need to get out of mining. And then I've got two other folders for each company, yielding designs and unique niche directions. And like team meetings, video course for the yielding designs. And in here, I've got business information like niching pamphlet and that. I've got service and offer videos that I've done with people. I've got the niching videos, which is where this is going to go, and actual current niche identification as well. Yeah, like I got a new. Did I just send you the new? Yes, I did just send you the new niche list. Uh, Goodness gracious! And now I've just gone. Images. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna ping these to you.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So we go like that. Nope. That one. Business images. Open. Okay, boom, boom, and boom. There you go. Now, if you jump onto your pings, that first image,
1 second.
it should have it should be a yellow image with exploration, discovery, development, production, and reclamation.
Okay. And this is all mining specific.
This is all mining. Yes, this is all mining.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Awesome. This is very helpful.
Yeah. So as you can see on that first image, you've got exploration, geoscience surveys, prospectors, companies, discoveries, and new mines, commodities, discovery, good field work, quality geoscience, investment and planning, development, feasibility studies, geoscience, engineering, raising capital and construction of the actual site, production. Extractions, so that's like drill and blast and production. There's milling, which is processing the raw material, which is actually getting the raw material from rock into usable material. Processing is processing that usable material into the product. So, for example, you've got nickel. I think it's nickel sulfate. I think it's nickel sulfate. So I'll go from the dirt. They go through the beneficiation, which just makes it into a slurry, a very thin very small particles. Then it goes through. That's the milling side. Then I'll go through processing, which processes the slurry into a green powder, which is the nickel oxide. And then you can go into secondary processing, where it'll go from the nickel powder to, say, into the batteries, as an example,
Right.
And then you've got reclamation, which is a big thing in Australia, just letting you know. So basically, if you've raped and pillaged the ground, it's like now you have to make it feasible for the environment. They always keep the topsoil. So what they do is like have all these big waste dumps, and they just make it all nice and smooth, make it look like a hill, and then put topsoil all over it, give it a bit of a water, and let it grow. And in the pits, it usually ends up being a swimming pool. So that's some of the. It's a large range of stuff you can burrow into.
Right. Okay. So for any industry that I choose, ultimately, I want to get the next step would be to get this sort of breakdown of how the operation works.
Yep.
And then from there,
Pick
then
one.
start niching it to the specific components that each section works with, right?
For
Like
example,
understand their process and then find out what their dependencies are.
Yep. For an example, we'll go with the metal fabrication, right? So we'll just say we're using a specific cyclone mix, a specific cyclone for nickel, because that's what I've dealt with. Okay. So you'll have to go, it would be processing or milling in the process that we just saw. Now, you'd talk to the companies that actually create those cyclones. I don't know them off the top of my head. You can talk to them about some of the issues they're having, because that could go right down to the processing, including the style of rubber that they use for lining, the type of metal that they used for the outer casing, the durability, the life expectancy of each. Or you can go to the mines themselves and say, hey, what are some of your problems? And they'll say, oh yeah, our cyclones aren't lasting as long. You could perhaps, say, okay, so what would be the best combination of material for your cyclones? And they'll say, well, we need a harder metal and a more durable rubber. And then you can go to said companies who actually deal with them and say, okay, what are your problems? And you might find out it's a distribution issue with getting a certain rubber or a certain composite to line them with.
So now you've got two wins, right? Like if you can solve the distribution problem, you solve the sourcing problem for the supplier, which solves the problem for the buyer, right?
Exactly.
So you can double dip on one problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or if for the PVC creation, like they have a lot of PVC pipe for beneficiation or the milling, where it's got large volumes of very grainy watered material just wearing out the pipe on a continuously every day. Imagine you have a pipe that's about that wide, high pressure water and slurry, like very fine sandpaper going through very wet sandpaper.
How long is that pipe gonna last?
Yeah. Like we used to make the joke that it was 90% fiberglass wrap at that particular site, which that particular site is actually closing down again, going back into maintenance because the nickel price
Right.
is so low. It's like the
Uh,
fourth time it's shut down, But yeah, it's not a not a viable job to work there. Every
right,
few
right,
years they shut down due to the nickel price. But that's
right.
just a couple of examples.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Okay, let me hold on. Let me make sure I'm comprehensive about this
This has
here.
all been recorded too, so you can always come back to your notes, come back and use this videos for notes.
Oh, I want to think this out loud though, just in case
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
missing
cool,
something
cool.
now. Like, so if I'm missing something, yes, please do say call that out. But yeah, so basically, it was what we started off at the beginning, which was choose industry,
Yep,
geographic, demographic,
yep,
um, etc. Right? I'll go back to the
yep,
notes and essentially like break out all the individual business components.
yep,
And then from there, find out who are the basically find out the supply chain.
yep,
And then in this step, there's an optional step where we may want to do a little bit of problem validation
yep.
because that might help us pick out which parts of the supply chain we want to focus on.
That's
Right.
exactly right. Yeah. So you
Right.
basically you're niching, you're asking them what their problem is in research, and then going down the chain, and then basically following the rabbit hole. And then you just go
Right.
problem validation the whole way through. So you might have 4 or 5 different lines of product of problem validation to get to your niche. And then the
Right.
niche is saying, yeah, we need this service or this. And you go, well, there's my business. And you're solving a whole load of problems that you may be able to tentacle off
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I really like that, man. Okay. Yeah. Final supply chain, problem validation, and then, or I guess that'll be, and yeah, I guess all of this problem validation implies I'm going to be doing finding some leads to
Yeah.
talk to. Okay. Okay. So, and then just to be sure, so if this is the process, if I follow this process, I should be in a good point to really start hitting problem validation.
For the most part, yeah. Like
Okay.
that's very, very basic, yeah.
Right.
Like
Okay. Is
I
there
like
anything else you can think of that I would add to this or any other detail?
choose the industry, demographic, geography. Um, it depends on the industry as well, because that works for like blue collar industries, where you're
Right.
doing brick. Say, for example, you could do the same thing for, say, brickies or chippies, sorry, um, um, brick builders and wood builders,
Right.
for say domestic housing, your wood,
Right.
your wood housing, your wood frames with the bricks, with the double brick, um, that could work very well with this. Whereas for say technological services, I guess it could be similar, but if we're going to go
Yeah, it's
LARPing,
going to take a different
if,
shape, but yeah, there will be
yeah,
different components. You
yeah.
know,
But
you have
then again,
marketing, sales.
if you go LARPing, um, you'll be probably not so much for B2B, but more B2C. But
Right. Right.
you know, but let's face it, I'm finding B2B easier than B2C.
Oh, I definitely preferred. I'm hoping to find a niche in B2B for sure.
Look, honestly, it's like Rule 34, mate. If it's a thing, there's porn of it, and and I think Rule 35 is actually if there isn't one on it, that will be created.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's where we're at right now. That's the basic idea. Finding out supply chain problem validation, but that could be the supply chain, which could also be like employment issues as well. I'm just trying to find another
Yeah, I mean,
board.
actually, I should be more specific. It's it's like the components, right?
Yeah. Find
So
out.
this would be like dependencies, because like
Yes.
in a
There.
software company, there's no supplier.
No,
It's
exactly
more like
right.
they have things, stuff that they rely on in order
So like
to get
employees, technology.
right,
Oh wow. Just going
like a software
just
stack and
thinking of
shit like
that
that.
right then. Just thinking of like a flash of idea right then is like your components for your PC that you need to use for programming, you know? Oh wow, that's a rabbit hole
Yeah,
in
and
itself.
the software stack is a big part of it too. You
Yeah,
know,
your
it's like
software, your hardware, you know,
right,
it can go so many different ways.
right. Okay. Um, okay, I feel like you filled in the gaps. Like I did another round on like on industrial, but I mean this my work here will be served by the same advice you just gave me here.
Yeah,
Like this will fill in the same gaps. And
yeah,
I feel honestly like with this framework, I feel pretty confident that I could look at any industry and
yeah.
get to an niche. So um okay, cool. I don't know. I guess maybe we're done.
Awesome sauce.
Actually, here one last question.
Yeah.
And this is more just like as a coach, right?
Mhm.
Um, you know, based on like your interactions with me so far, like on the boards and then the calls and stuff, you know, open-ended, like, is there any advice you would give me? You know, any area you think I can improve or anything,
Um,
any suggestions?
honestly, you fill in me with me personally, you fill in the more technical side of things that I don't have, especially with the like computer side, and I appreciate that.
Uh,
Um, honestly, perhaps just activity. Like you're very
yeah,
active on the boards. Like I can't say, oh, be more active, because
right,
that could
right,
be the same for me as well. You know, I could
yeah,
put a comment on every thing, but if I don't understand it, I usually don't comment on it. You
right,
know,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, you notice like I never comment on niche threads. Because I suck at niching. I don't have a lot of experience with it, which is why I never talk about it.
to be
Like really
fair,
the
neither do I. just I'm just
I mean
such a
you're
random
way better
brained.
at it than I am.
I'm just such a random
But
brain, so that's where it helps me.
it's a perfect fit. Yeah, like honestly, the only threads I really comment on are the problem validation. That's just because I've done it a lot.
Yeah,
But everything else, I'm
and
just
you've
like,
done very
I
well with
don't
it,
know.
and your Bibles
Yeah,
help a lot of people out. You know,
I hope so. Yeah.
that could also be a
Uh,
possibility. You know,
I I think about that. And you know, like one thing, I guess this leads into another question that I had for you because like I see all the stuff that you're putting together here, like your materials and everything, and I
mm,
really like all this stuff. So I was gonna say, like, you know, if there's ever something where it's like, you know, you've got an idea for something, you know, that you want to add to your coaching program and you need like a guinea pig to test it out on or something like that,
yeah, much
feel
appreciated.
free to reach out and just say, hey, you know what, let's take a look at this
Yeah,
or
you're
you know,
you're all
let's go
pretty
through some process
you're
and I'll
pretty
give
au
you
fait
feedback.
with web design, eh? Like basic web
I mean,
design. You okay at
kinda
it?
like what kind of web
I,
design are you talking
I'm not talking much. I'm just talking like the pages like George has. You know, George into the jungle.
about? Right,
You know,
right.
like that's what I'm looking at doing on Monday is starting my copywriting for my website for coaching.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah,
bouncing
happy.
it
Yeah,
past you
dude,
guys would be
totally.
much
Let's do it.
appreciated.
Yeah,
You know,
sure. Like what kind of things are you looking to like what are you looking to improve or
well, I
just
need to write
starting
it
or
first.
okay.
Like
Okay, yeah.
I've got my domain already, you know, and for $5 a month, man, I'm not complaining.
Right. Right.
You know, it's unc.ac, you know,
Right.
und.ac, you know,
Right.
unique niche directions, you know,
Right.
and yeah, it's just that, and oh god, the iconography. The iconography is getting me head in because
Yeah.
I'm trying to use all the colors that are like awesome, like trustworthy for blue and exciting for yellow and gold for prestige, you know, and trying to get it all mixed in and make it look nice. And then it's just like,
Right.
uh, is it really working? And then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try and keep it on my desk on my browser, but then I have to leave. You know, I have to close everything down, go to work, and I can't find out exactly because I'm not going to pay out for every icon that I create, you know?
Right. 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 Right.
So,
Okay, so tell you what, like, so you said that you need to write the copy and at least get like started on the like iconography and the look and
yeah.
everything. So if you like, when you get to a stage where you have like a first pass at all this stuff,
Hmm.
just shoot me a ping and
You'll probably find
we'll
out
talk about.
I'll put it
Okay,
on the board anyway. But yeah,
okay,
because like Brian, I like putting everything on the board, just like this
right.
video. Once it's all sorted, I'll ping you the Dropbox for it, and then you can post it up on the board with your own insights.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, that totally works. Yeah, I'll
Because
just
that's what
hack
I
it
try
up
and get
and
everyone
find
to
it.
do. You know, is like,
Okay.
um, yeah, Brian's. As I said, I think I linked Brian's message to you, like the board message to you when doing the research for this, um, especially with the mining stuff. I think I'd put that in because I know I don't. I know. You know what? I'll just fucking check it. Uh, there we go. Nice and easy. Pings are already up. Okay, where are we? Um, that. I'm pretty sure. No, I don't think I. Pretty sure that I did. Fling you the. Uh, no,
Yeah, now
that's
that
the
you
mission
mentioned it, I don't
pamphlet.
remember Brian Lynch.
Oh, no, sorry, it wasn't Brian. I meant George. I get
Or
confused
George.
with those two because they were very, very close together. Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I
gotcha.
did it. Yeah, I did yeah, I did flick you the base camp link.
Okay. Okay,
So, yeah.
cool.
So, yeah. Um,
George T, not
yeah,
George A.
George. Yeah, George T, not George into the jungle. I haven't done
Right,
anything.
right. Okay,
I have
gotcha.
spoken to George into the jungle about it right at the start, but he's pretty well sorted to start with.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he's doing really well now.
Mm.
Um,
So yeah, but yeah, no, I'll just try and get everyone to put it up. Like Tom was one that didn't put it up, so I put it up for him. So,
right.
and yeah. So Wilson, I think, put his up as well. Like I had George, Brian, and Wilson all pretty quick in succession. And then yeah, and Chad's come to me for both niching and service. So
Right, right. You're a
so
man
yeah.
in demand.
Now I just need to try actually tell everyone to go to the Boss Cooperative instead of giving freebies.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so on that note, I want to do a testimonial for you too.
Yep.
So if you want, we can take that discussion over ping or something, but
Well, it's over
we can
ping.
figure out what we're gonna do.
You know, um, that's one thing I'm going to be putting on the site, and I've spoken to Billy and Jeff about that on Boss Cooperative about having. I don't know if you've seen the coach page on Boss Cooperative.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. I'm kind of getting them to once you click talk to say, for example, me, you come up to a page where you got a booking page and a testimonial page. You know,
Right.
click the testimonials, boom, list of testimonials, you can play them on. Or,
Right.
and once you've done that, you can go back and then just go to the booking page.
Yeah.
That's something that we're looking at and going to
Great
be
idea.
discussing at our next meeting.
Yeah.
But I'll be also doing that on my own website as well. So I'll have the copy, I'll have the testimonials, I'll have the book now, you know, it'll all be there.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah, no
Happy
dramas.
to do it.
Okay, my happy
All
little
right.
friend. I will
Yeah.
let you
Thank
to the
you.
rest of your day.
Yeah. Thank you for this, man. Appreciate
That's
it.
all good.
And yeah, I'll have an update in the next couple days on the board with
Nice.
my new process.
Awesome sauce. Okay,
Okay,
no
cool.
dramas. I'll ping this to you once it's up and ready. With my upload on my internet up in my new place, it's shite. So I'll probably end up probably end up being a couple of days just trying to
Sure.
get somewhere with decent Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no
dramas.
problem.
Okay, have a
All
good
right,
rest of
awesome,
your day.
man. Thanks for your help. Really appreciate it. This was very helpful.
I'm glad I could help. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Have a good night.
Bye.